Every day of my life, I am blessed. Welcome back to another episode of One Kick from Glory. Having some fun today. It's going to be a bit of a throwback special. Been seeing a lot of talk on the timeline about football and key ballers, but we're going to do something a bit different this week. I'm joined, as always, by Matthew on my left, and of course, Craig right ahead of me.
Peace.
Today, we're going to have an homage to some of our great players that from the past, players that have lit up the Premier League and made it the special league that it is. Of course, this week's episode is all about the streets won't forget that number 11, that special 11 squad of players that just defined an era of football. Now, we all have to agree on who that 11 is going to be, so it's going to get quite contentious. I've already heard some hot takes from some people about some players, and I know some people are going to have some questionable players brought up, but that's all right. We ain't judging them. It's okay, Craig. You can suggest who you want to suggest. We'll see how it all goes down in the wash.
Okay.
So, to start off with, before we even start picking our players, what would you say is one of your moments you look back on from an individual player? I'll start with you, Matthew. That really stands out in your mind.
It has to be the one that scored nothing but worldies every single time. It's got to be Tugay, Turkish legend from Blackburn. I mean, I know he played in Europe previously, but honestly, he scored stunner after stunner after stunner like he was stone cold every single time. All of his goals were like 30, 45 yards. He makes it look so easy. And it was for Blackburn Rovers. I know they won the Premier League previously, but still, just like imagine going to Ewood Park back when they were in the Premier League. Because for those who don't know, Blackburn were once a staple in the Premier League, former winners, were knocking on that European door and were a big deal. I'm going to talk about, 15 years ago? 15 years ago, something crazy like that. I mean, they were a draw. And it wasn't just him. They had other players that could do that. They had Morton Gamps Pedersen. They had Roque Santa Cruz at one point. They had some ballers. They had some serious ballers, but he's the one that stuck out. Match of the day. Even if Chelsea weren't playing, even if Chelsea even lost on that Saturday, I'm glued and waiting like, come on, I want to see that Tugay. Come on, here we go. And he never really let me down. From that era of the Premier League, that 2000s where it was lighting up beautifully. And just that period of 3-4 years when it was just for entertainment value on a whole nother level. Tugay, he sticks out for me massively, absolutely massively.
And for you, Craig, who'd be a player that contributed to a memorable moment for you in the league?
Matthew Letizia. He scored some absolutely screamers. Like some of the goals. I remember one goal he scored against Newcastle when he flicked it over the player's head, flicked it again, and then just passed it in the net. And he scored some volleys. He scored some world-class goals. And he's playing for Southampton in the 90s, where every season they struggle for relegation, but he always seemed to score enough goals to keep them up every season. So I think he's a true Premier League legend.
So you're going from Matthew Letizia. So obviously these are just players that we look back on and think the moments they created were pretty special. I'm going to go... Ooh, this is going to be interesting.
Hard.
This is going to actually be really interesting because now it's like, okay, we have to actually think about the players. The player that's in my head is he's a striker. He played for Portsmouth for a period of time. Lemana Lua. I just think there were so many games when he would just come in clutch for them, get some little important goals. He wasn't a very prolific striker. I think that we can all say that. But his celebration was definitely notable. Those backflips. He was definitely that striker who, when he got a goal, it was value for money. Yeah. So that's mine. All right, so we're gonna start now assembling our Streets Won't Forget 11. Of course, we'll have a sauce bench as well, and we'll also have a manager to manage this group of rebels.
Okay,
it's going to be interesting who we pick as the coach, because there's been some great managers in the league over the years. There's been some absolute crap ones as well. The Streets we'll definitely not forget, but not for the right reasons. So let's start off in goal. Let's start with you, Craig. Who you see your pick as your goalkeeper for this memorable 11?
I got 3 goalkeepers I'm thinking of, but I'm going to pick...
You might as well throw them all out there because we're going to choose anyway.
Okay. I'll say Neville Southall was a good Premier League goalkeeper for Everton in the 90s. He was very good in the 80s, world class in the 80s and the 80s because he won the league with Everton in the 80s. But in the 90s, he was a very good goalkeeper.
Okay.
I would say the next one I'm going to pick is Shay Given.
Shay Given.
Underrated goalkeeper.
Excellent.
Streets won't forget.
A very good shot stopper. I'm very good at saving world-class shots. And my third one is going to be... Who was another good goalkeeper in the Premier League? Underrated. Nigel Martin.
Everton Leeds keeper, wasn't he?
Yeah, Everton Leeds keeper. He was very underrated. He would have got more caps for England if David Seaman wasn't number one. And there's one more. Tim Flowers.
You're picking from the early eras of the Premier League. You're picking the beginning.
Mate.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. So over to you, Matthew. That's Craig's 4 nominees, I guess you could say, for the goalkeeper in this special squad. Who's on your mind as a goalkeeper that you'd want to have in this team?
Am I going to kind of go down the same way? Because it's at least I've got at least maybe 5, and now I'm thinking of it. I'm going to go one who was knocking on that door, so close to being in the top 4 goalkeeper. That's Brad Friedel. I think particularly at his time at Blackburn. People might think I'm a Blackburn fan. I'm not. They just had some good individual players, and he was one of them. An absolute staple in the team. Kept them competitive for years, and it shows that when he left, just how much of a rock and a presence he was in that team. He was absolutely pivotal. I don't think they dropped out of top 10 once when he was there. Fantastic keeper. Shay Given, another one for Newcastle, absolute legend of the game. Again, another one who could have got into knocked on that top 6, top 4 position. You know, and you think he's a goalkeeping coach now. I don't know where, but another
Derby.
I think it's Derby.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on from that one. But yeah, we could probably say he deserves more. He really does. Probably does. This is. Oh no, I had to have a double think. All right, the next one. It's a wild one. He was sometimes a bit wild, but his exploits in Europe were legendary, and that's Jerzy Dudek. An eclectic choice, because I think that the character that he had, kind of to have to bring back from the Champions League final against AC Milan in Istanbul, notorious night. And, you know, I think he won well with Liverpool in the first place. Anyway, I think domestically here and there, but they were never really out of the picture. So he was another decent one. I want to try and avoid going for the clubs that we support. Got it. You see Jääskeläinen for Bolton. Kept them, again, when he went, the difference you saw falling from grace. I think we're in League 2 now. People need to remember that at one point, a few years ago, when Bolton were the business, you know, your least favourite ground for a few years, 1-0 Bolton. They were actually in the Europa League, competing with Bayern Munich and beating Bayern Munich at Bayern Munich. This is Bolton. Let that sink in, people. Let that sink in. And one more, I'm going to say, it's another Yank, Tim Howard. Tim Howard, another consistent professional of the game. You know, again, I don't know if he would have knocked on that door of another club, but he was just professional to the club. He served the club well. He was at Man United, of course, as well. Of course, he was at Manchester United for a bit, so he must have been good. So, yeah, that's my top. They're my 5.
I'm just picking one. I'd written down Jääskeläinen before you said it. When you said it, I was like, well, I guess that's good. Yeah, I mean, again, his performances for Bolton just stand out to me.
Fantastic.
His reflexes, his ability to pull off some incredible saves. I think, to me, he's definitely a goalkeeper that you just wouldn't forget. So off our list, I guess, who's going to make the cut? Because we got 2 votes for Shay Given, 2 votes for Jääskeläinen. Got Jerzy Dudek in the middle. So you got Howard, Friedel, Flowers, Martin, and Southall. So Shay Given or Jussi Jääskeläinen, who's going to be?
Well, I got an idea.
And who's going on the bench?
Well, I got an idea. Since we're since the person's off camera, I think Malachi should get the deciding vote. Who do you think? That's fair, because then us lot, it won't be biased, and we have somebody else giving us a final vote. Jääskeläinen or Shay Given? Okay, that's it. Shea
Shea
Given's in goal.
Given,
Shea
Jask
Given.
Lannon's on the bench. We move on to defense. We're going to start at right back. This time we're going to limit it to 3 options for each person. So, right back. Start with you, Matthew. Switch up a little bit. Who's your right back of choice?
Oh my goodness, this is not something I'm very, very good at. Right back. Who was a really good Can I have time to think? Because it's tough. Right backs is not that position that's really like appreciated that much. So Craig, can you take it?
I
need to think.
Okay, right back, Craig.
The first one I said when he was at West Ham, a youngster. He was one of the best young players I've seen in West Ham in years, and he came from the academy, went straight to the first team. Glenn Johnson.
Oh my goodness!
I had a feeling that you would go for. I was like, that sounds like Glenn Johnson.
Goodness.
All right.
Glenn Johnson, right back. That's my first pick. Second pick, I would say is who's another good right back in the Premier League history? I think is it Gary Kelly? Gary Kelly played for Leeds. He had a very good career. He was a very good right back. He could play right back or left back. He was very versatile.
Yeah, you're right about that one, yeah.
And another one is who's another good right back? Right back.
It's tough.
I know it's very tough.
Was Phil Neville?
You can pick from your club you support.
No, I'll try not to.
But you can. It is streets don't remember, or streets won't forget rather. It just can't be like the obvious people.
Okay, another right back. I would say another right back.
Was Phil Neville a right back?
Left back. He could play left back or right back or something.
I don't know what he was.
I'm just throwing out.
Let me
was
see
on the pitch.
another right back. Tony Hibbert. He played for Everton. He was a very underrated right back, but he was very solid. Teams never used to like playing against him. He was one of them hard men, consistent for years. So I said Tony Hibbert. Yeah.
That's your 3.
Yeah.
All right, Matthew.
I'm going to go with Glenn Johnson, just because. Finally, thanks for bringing that one up because it's such a hard one to think about. If we're going to go down the route of Chelsea, I'm going to go with someone who again was just consistent. I know he could play there at times, and I want to put a bit of respect on his name in case people forgot because he was part
exactly
of the fold.
I know who he is.
Go on.
Who is it? Is it Paulo Ferreira?
I was just about
That's
to say
not
that.
who I was thinking about.
I knew he was going to say Paulo Ferreira.
But seeing we're going to go for the ones that went under the line, like I have to go for Paulo Ferreira. Served the club from when we came from our glory to that first Champions League. He was just kind of there for the club, very quiet, just professional, just really, really professional. Out of interest, who do you think I was going to say?
I thought you were going to say Branislav.
Branislav Ivanovic.
Because I would have put him, I would comfortably put him over Ferreira. I think Ferreira was okay.
Oh, me too. But we didn't want to, you don't want to be too bait sometimes about these things. You want to try, let me be a little bit adventurous, let me be a bit fun. Like, what can I get away with it? Oh, let me try. Okay. Oh, no, he's a left back. Sorry, that was my mistake. I'm not going to lie. When it comes to right backs, it's not the best, but I think I'm happy with the ones I have. So I'm going to say Branislav. I agree with
So Glenn Johnson,
and Kelly.
Ferreira.
And Kelly, yeah. I think I could definitely agree with those.
Okay. Right backs. I feel like we should have written this down before we started.
Probably
this is
We had time to talk about this.
this is better because you have to use your brain. Writing things down is too easy. You have to remember.
I bet you know what's happened. Right backs are going to come flowing out of our ears in a minute.
That's the thing.
They're going to start. There was someone who played for. No, he's a left back again.
I can think of a left back as
I can
well.
think
A
of-
right back.
yeah.
Oh gosh.
It's tough.
Okay. I'm gonna pick him because I think it's a funny pick, and he's definitely a player the streets won't forget. Maybe not for all the right reasons, but Pascal Chimbonda. He was just entertainment.
He was ridiculous.
He was such a funny player to watch. I'm also going to go for a player that's still in the league right now, El Mohammadi.
Yeah.
He's decent.
Very reliable.
Good.
Very like up and down the pitch, no problems there.
Who's the one that plays for Brighton?
Currently at Brighton,
Currently, yeah.
Pascal Gross,
he's not a right back.
No,
Lamptey.
He's not, but Lamptey's not really been. He's too young to kind of establish a
Not
kind of.
is it Veltman?
No, Veltman's
No,
more
I
like a
feel like
centre
that's
back.
someone at Brighton who's a
The
right
new,
back.
the new kid, the Spanish one.
I don't know.
No, that's too new.
Okay.
Just don't forget, it's got to be people from the past. I can't think of anyone else. I'm just going to go for those two. Pascal Chimbonda and El Mohammadi.
Yeah.
So of those options that we've got, so Glenn Johnson, Paulo Ferreira, Gary Kelly, Tony Hibbert, Pascal Chimbonda, or El Mohammadi, who are we going for?
Glenn Johnson.
For sheer comedy,
Pascal, innit?
Pascal. For comedy.
Josh, that's actually. I mean, it's going to be a fun 11. Let's go for Pascal. This is for the fun of it.
This jokes, man.
This is for the fun of it.
Okay.
I'm going to go first left backs. I've got Ian Hart,
Good,
Leeds.
Set piece.
Sweet wand of a left foot. One of the best set piece takers I've seen in my life. That's a defender. Obviously, we had the great Roberto Carlos as well, but Ian Hart for me is amazing at set pieces. That's all I'm picking. Matthew?
I got this one. I've got it.
Go on.
Here we go. John Arne Risa.
Risa!
You want to talk about a foot. The last time he kicked the ball, this ball is still going around the world as we speak. The left foot on this man was the stuff of legend. The goalkeeper, with no goalkeeper, no nothing, no brick wall, get out of the way. Even for you just knew what was going down with that left foot. He was like a secret weapon. There was a period where Liverpool would only score their goals from outside the box. 99% came from this man right here. He just gave that confidence. His left foot is a weapon in itself. So that's my one and frankly only pick, John Arne Risa.
Craig? Who are you going for?
This is an unsung. I know he won a lot of trophies, but he was an unsung hero. Other players had the limelight, but he was a quiet defender. Never got into trouble. Very, very, very good pro. Played for a very long time. He won the league so many times. Dennis Irwin.
Yeah, I was feeling that name. Feeling that name.
Gosh, this is a hard one. Owen, Ian Hart, or John Arne Risa? It's got to be Risa. It just has to be.
Yeah.
Because
Reese's
it's like-
a cult hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I go
mean,
with
if
Risa.
Risa wasn't on this list, I would argue for Ian Hart, but it's got to be Risa. All right, we're moving into centre backs. Ooh. Boy, this is where it really gets interesting.
I know someone.
Go ahead then.
Lucas Radebe. Underrated left centre back in the Premier League.
Leeds, right?
Yeah,
Right.
Lucas
Good.
Radebe. He came to England with another player. They bought the other player to play alongside him. They bought the other player, and the only way he was going to bring Lucas Radebe to England was to make him settle in England. I think his name was something Mazinga. He passed away. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
He came to England. Both of them came because, and everyone was expecting the other guy to do better than Lucas Radebe, but Lucas Radebe ended up being a better player and stayed at Leeds for the longest. So, yeah, he was a good, solid centre back, very quick. He had a lot of injuries, but he always seemed to come back from his injuries and came back a stronger player. And he was Leeds captain for a long time as well. So I'll say Lucas Radebe.
Okay. Any more?
Underrated Premier League centre backs.
He's allowed two.
Okay, centre backs. Let me see.
I'll let you think about it while you think about it. Matthew.
Okay, this is going to be weird because I kind of have three. I kind of have to have three. I'm going to start off with one. I know he played for, a team that were top at the time, but he kind of left in not the best circumstances. I think there was more of him to come. Jap Stam. He didn't leave in the best of circumstances. I genuinely believe that had he stayed, I might be saying that Arsenal might not have had the 3-1 they did in the early 2000s. He won, plenty of trophies, absolute Dutch mound in that defense, that partnership. Back when they were had those tough, gritty men players him and likes of Keane and indeed Steve Owen as well. That was tough. Man, ability wise, maybe not the best, but they played with grit and they were hard. And I think he left with more to prove. Another two. Oh no! Can keep adding names to this? No, stick. I'm going with one of your guys, an Invincible. I don't think gets a lot of credit. Lauren.
He's not a centre back.
He's not a centre back.
He's a right back.
Oh my! See, I told you. It's coming out. All right, fine. This narrows down the list. This guy was a joker. He couldn't decide what club he went to, and I think he threw his toys out the pram. You guys might know who he is. William Gallas.
Oh, you can't say that fraud's name, man.
William Gallas.
He's a fraud, man.
I mean,
how can you play for Arsenal, Tottenham, and Chelsea?
That's why I'm putting him in there.
That's just disrespectful.
Listen, he's got to be put in there just for that reason, like the hall of infamy, if and whatnot. Like that is true. Like that's the balls on that guy.
But it's the way you go from Chelsea to Arsenal to Tottenham. I mean, I'm talking about career regression.
I know. I think, yeah.
Oh, I have to. I have to. I kind of have to put that in there. Centre backs. I think Hangeland from Fulham, Brede Hangeland, big, tall. Was he Norwegian, American? I don't know where he's from, but
Norwegian.
he was Norwegian,
Yeah.
like tall, big, tough, tall Norwegian player. I think he was there when they had their little European excursion when they got to the final and got trumped, but they got to the final. I think a lot of big clubs were tapping him at the time, and I think no one actually clocked onto him. He was another fantastic player.
I'm gonna go back to you, Craig. Who's popped in your head now that you've got on your list?
Marcel Desailly, underrated centre back.
Underrated. Was he underrated though?
I think he was. I think he was underrated.
He was on the kind of cusp
because he came to Chelsea at a time after winning the World Cup in '98. He came to Chelsea. He did well at Chelsea, won a few trophies, but he never really won the big trophies at Chelsea. When the success happened at Chelsea, he was already gone. When he was really a very good. He really helped John Terry develop in his career.
Hempler's craft.
Yeah, helped him learn his craft alongside John Terry. So I'll say that Marcel Desailly is an underrated Premier League defender, I would say.
Because he was already proven when he got it, because he already won the Champions League with Milan.
AC Milan.
And he was at Marseille
with AC Milan,
yeah.
So I'll say Marcel Desailly.
Proven,
Okay. Have you got any more, Matthew, for your list?
I keep going to you, even though they keep complaining about your defence. I think one player I actually did quite like, I just kind of liked him, was Thomas Vermaelen. I just don't know why. I just liked him. I don't know why. I think maybe with a better person right next to him, things may have been different. I don't know, but I just don't know why. I'm just gonna throw out my name. We're going for jokes here, so why not? I've already put in Gallas, so can't get any worse.
All right, my first pick, I'm gonna pick a defender who was at Chelsea actually, and I'm picking him because he scored some goals as well. And he had a hammer of a left foot and a hammer of a right foot, and that's Alex. For me, I think he was an interesting defender, and one of those players going forward that you could always kind of rely on to kind of come in and do something a bit special. Next to choice, I'm gonna pick. I'm actually.
Go on then.
I'm gonna pick Jamie Carragher,
Okay.
because I feel like even though he's not like an unknown defender, I feel like his reputation maybe isn't as high as it probably should be, considering the longevity of his career, how well he performed at Liverpool.
That's true.
Except for when Omri mugged him off, but that's for most defenders. So I'm gonna just stick to those two. Those are my two choices.
That's good. Yeah.
Okay.
So who makes our back line? Ooh.
Name the names
So
again.
we got Radaby Desailly, we got Alex, Jamie Carragher, we got Jaap Stam, William Gallas, Brede Hangeland, and Vermaelen. Well, Vermaelen and Gallas out the equation straight away because they just lack something.
Comedians.
I like the idea of maybe like a Jaap Stam and Lucas Radaby as a partnership.
I think that will work. Yeah, Lucas Radaby and Jaap Stam.
That'll be terrible.
That's pace and
for the
strength.
culture.
Yeah.
Wow.
Those two.
Okay, cool.
All right, we're going to go into central midfield. This is where it's going to get really, really technical. It's going to get real tense. It's going to be real funny. Gosh. I'm going to start.
Okay.
JJ Okocha, because I wanted to get him out of the way.
I had him in my team as well. I had him in my team.
So
I had him in my team.
I think that's just self-explanatory. The guy was absolutely phenomenal as a player. He could do everything. Alongside him, because I don't think his reputation was as solidified until he left the league, especially for his club. Xabi Alonso.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Underrated.
as soon as Liverpool let him go for stupid money, the difference was it took them so long to replace him. So long to replace him.
Excellent player.
So
good.
those two, and
It's tough. It's hard. It's really, really hard thinking.
I was trying to think of. I want to think of like a little technical midfielder. I'm like scanning the different teams in my head, like who could make who would I really think would be. I'm gonna go Adel Taarabt because I was thinking, why not?
That's a name I've heard in a long time.
Because he was very, very inconsistent as a player. He's reinventing himself now as a CDM in Benfica, and he's amazing there. But I think he's a player who he excites you. I think it's that as a midfield three, Okocha, Xabi Alonso, and Adel Taarabt. That would just be like, that'll be fun.
That's chaos.
It'll be fun. So that's my three. So I'll go over to you, Matthew, first. Who's your picks for central midfield?
It's just come to my mind, Dusan Tadic from Southampton. I mean, he was at the time when he was there, Southampton were going through like a sugar babes phase where no matter who came in, they'd always seem to survive. Manager, players, they went through absolute rafters, and he was I think he was there when they were kind of pushing for Europe. I don't know if he was there at the same time when Virgil was there, when Mane was there, when Wanyama was there.
He was with Wanyama, definitely, and I think briefly Mane. I think they crossed over.
Yeah,
I'm not sure about Virgil.
I mean, but he's doing really good. He's done wonders at Ajax. If you're gonna get picked up by Ajax at this stage of your career, you must be doing something right. So I think he's kind of under the radar a little bit. Another player for Southampton who I've just mentioned, and I don't think he got a lot of time that he deserved when he made his move, and that's Victor Wanyama. I don't think he was. He made some good times at Tottenham. I think he was there when, they were definitely on the ascendancy. Who is it? Someone who replaced him? Who replaced him? Like his position when he was at Tottenham, was it Dembele or?
I think they were playing together for a period.
Yeah, and I think he just kind of faded to back. He had a foot on him. He scored a wicked goal against Liverpool, and he was a big, strong kind of guy. I think he went up to the MLS. I can't remember, but I don't think that he got a lot of time as well. One more person. Was Roque Santa Cruz did he play midfield?
Striker.
Oh, that's that one from midfield.
All right, whilst you think about your next one, Craig,
it's so hard.
who have you got on your mind?
Centre mid. Who's a good Premier League centre mid? Jermaine Dinas was a good young player coming through at Newcastle. Not when he went to Tottenham. At Newcastle, he was all right.
I don't think he's a streets won't forget. He's just a forget player. But we'll write him down anyway. Got it. Because if he's in your list, he's a forget. I don't think he's a streets won't forget. But okay, Jermaine Genius, yeah, he's forgettable to me. I've forgotten his career already.
Who else is another one I thought of? Joey Barton.
Wow,
I'm playing.
That's cool.
Scrap it.
That's all right. We got it down. That's cool.
Another unsung hero of Premier League.
I've just got two in my mind. Oh my god.
I'm gonna jump back to Matthew.
Go back to Matthew. I was thinking, yeah.
Johan Cabaye.
Cabaye at Newcastle.
Newcastle, at Palace.
Yeah.
Another good player that could have performed at another club, a better club. No offense. I mean, he was part of a team that got him to what fifth. Newcastle. He finished above Chelsea the year we won the Champions League. So, and he was just another good player. I mean, didn't he get to PSG?
Yep.
He went to PSG. So,
what a waste of a transfer.
Absolute waste. I'm going for another Newcastle player, and he was there back when they were playing good stuff. I don't know if you remember Norberto Solano.
Oh, he was one I was thinking of as well.
He was such a happy guy. You just love watching him. He's I don't know. I look at him and I'm thinking he reminds me. I'm not saying he was ever reached for levels, but it's someone you just like, a likable player. He was like Kante, likable just like him. Happy, smiley guy. Loved playing on the pitch. Loved by the fans. Didn't win a bit of silverware, but for Newcastle fans, I think he was loved. He loved to be there. And he was so happy. So just two names that just came by just now. I was like, oh my goodness, there's this guy.
Have you got anyone else to add, Craig? Or is
Rob Lee, that used to play for Newcastle.
You're going back too far, bro.
That's fine.
But all right, fine. Okay, that's that. I think we got enough players there. So we got to take 2 from this crazy list. We got JJ Okocha, Xabi Alonso, Adel Taarabt, Jermaine Genius, Joey Barton, Rob Lee, Dusan Tadic, Victor Wanyama, Johan Cabaye, and Norberto Solano.
JJ Okocha gets into my
JJ
team.
Okocha's got to get in.
That's what we all agree on JJ Okocha.
100%.
And who's the other one? The next one after that?
Xabi Alonso, Solano.
I'd say Xabi Alonso. That midfield will be solid with them too.
I think Solano,
Solano
and Alonso
or
can be on the
Xabi
bench.
Alonso. Yeah,
Alonso
Solano.
can be on the bench.
I would agree Solano then.
Put Xabi on the bench.
Okay.
Yeah. The rest of them don't make the bench. Maybe Johan Cabaye would make the bench
Is a wild card.
as a wild card. All right, left midfield. I'm gonna go first again.
Go on then.
Morten Gamps Pedersen.
Yes.
That his left foot was just ridiculously good. A player that could just make something out of nothing.
Dead balls, man.
Absolutely special player. I'm gonna come back to myself on the left wing because I feel like there's a player from the past that's bubbling away. But for now, which one of you thinks you got a players ready? Craig, jump in.
David Ginola, cult hero in the 90s, scored some spectacular goals. Never trapped back, but scored some spectacular goals. Used to frustrate right backs in the Premier, just to destroy right backs in the Premier League. And another one I've got is Damien Duff. He was very underrated in the Premier League.
Fantastic player.
Especially when he was at Chelsea, won two Premier League titles. He was never really given the credit what he was fully deserved.
He was a really good player.
Very good player. And another one I've got is who's another one I had? Mark Overmars for Arsenal. I don't want to name the Arsenal players, but I thought, Mark Overmars. He won that. I remember when he came to when Arsenal played Man United at Old Trafford. We never beat Man United at Old Trafford for a long, long time, since 1991, I think, 91 season. And he went to Old Trafford and destroyed Gary Neville. Even Gary Neville still having traumatic experiences about that game. He always talks about it sometimes. Even on Sky, he's always talking about it. He really destroyed Man United that day. And the goal he scored to win the game, where he got Anelka headed the ball to him, just burst his pace, went past Michael. I'll never forget that game. So I'll say Mark Overmars.
Okay. Who have you got, Matthew?
I'm not sure if he was a left wing, but I know he could play there. A very exciting player. Martins, Obafemi Martins.
Striker.
Why do I keep on naming strikers? I know these players.
I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna put him in anyway because, it's gonna be 10 steps up front anyway, so he might not even get a look in.
Well, go on. Seeing as I've already put him in, he was just another exciting addition to the Premier League who played for clubs like Newcastle. He played for Birmingham, and then he moved on to Inter Milan, or vice versa. I think he came from
Started from Inter and then came.
He started off in Inter, so he brought that kind of winning mentality and that ability to the club. And again, like Loa, his celebration was so memorable.
Newcastle have had some great players. Down
Newcastle,
the years,
I think I've noticed speaking a lot of Newcastle players. They kind of shows that they were always in good hands. What's such a shame? Such a shame.
They're back. They're back up now.
Oh goodness me! Who else can I go for? And again, correct me if I'm wrong. I was going to think of players who played forward who probably didn't get the massive fanfare they should have. I'm going to go with Sylvain Wiltors. Played for you guys.
All right. I'll allow it.
Sylvain Wiltord, World Cup winner. I remember playing in the World Cup and Euros and playing alongside the likes of Henry and Lilian Thuram, David Trezeguet. He felt like he wanted a bit of the action. He definitely brought that back with him to the Premier League. Just another good addition and squad player. Just to have I think is absolutely fantastic. And my goodness, I wish I wrote these players down because I had something in my mind, but I'm gonna stick with those for the moment. Another one will probably come up.
I'm gonna add Lauren Robert to my list on Newcastle.
Cult
That
hero.
left foot. That left foot could send someone straight, and he almost sent off his own players. Almost sent them straight to the other side. Hammer of a left foot. And alongside him, I'm also going to pick another player that used to score ridiculously beautiful bangers for goals every week. He couldn't score a normal goal to save his life. In fact, when he had chances in the box to score an easy goal, he couldn't finish. Matt Taylor. Absolute legend. Unbelievable.
He scored 2. I think he scored 2 in one game. It was for Portsmouth. And I think this was a wild game. And I think it was goals galore. And he just like, woof.
And it was gone.
In. Wow. What?
Wow. Who are we picking from this list? I mean, there's a lot of heavy hitters on that list. So we're picking one, and the other's going on the bench. Pedersen, Robert, Taylor, Martins, Wiltord, Ginola, Duff, or Mark Overmars.
This is really hard.
This is a hard one.
This is really, really hard.
It depends what you're looking for. Like my head is telling me Pedersen, just for the vibes. But my heart is saying go Overmars for the pace.
I'm saying I'm going for Overmars because like when he came to England, he destroyed that league for a long time. For a couple of years, he was in England. So I'll say Mark Overmars.
Yeah, because
teams hated to play against Arsenal when he was on the team, when he was starting. He was just ripping teams apart. I remember one game against Everton when the final game of not the final game, but when we had to win the league to beat Everton to win the league, and he ripped apart. I think it was a right back, and then he went down injured. The right back went down injured, and he went and scored. So I'll say Mark Overmars.
It's a case of like, we got to think of it like how I think, like Overmars, because he left with more to prove. That's the thing with a lot of these players, that they left some of these clubs with a lot more to prove, and it's hard to argue against Overmars. I hate to.
I think Arsenal got the best years out of Overmars. To be honest with you, I think so.
All right, let's do Overmars, and then we'll have Pedersen on the bench.
Okay,
I'm happy with that.
I would. Taylor could have snuck in a left back. Yeah. That's a tough one. We might bring Taylor back on the bench, but we'll see how it goes with the rest of the positions. Let's go over to the right side of midfield. Oh boy.
Okay.
This is where it's gonna get real interesting now.
Right midfield.
Right midfielders in the Premier League.
Good
Lord. Are you ready, Craig?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Go on. Who you got?
I think someone was underrated. I know he had a lot of media presence about him, but I think a really underrated Premier League player. He won a lot of trophies as well, as I said before. David Beckham. Sweet right foot. Or not?
It's not
underrated.
Underrated.
Look,
well,
we're saying I won't forget.
I thought he was underrated
as a footballer.
I think they didn't rate him as highly as they rate other players in the Premier League. That's my opinion. I might be wrong, but I think they didn't. All right, then if not.
All right, fine. You made a compelling point. You used the magical words that no one can argue with. In my opinion. Your opinion can be wrong, but in my opinion, all right, fam.
Not him then, mate.
No, it's cool. We'll keep Beckham.
We'll have him.
Streets will never forget him. He won't allow us to. The man can't retire in peace. Now he's on FIFA 22. He was on PES last year. He was on FIFA the year before. Like, can the man not rest? Cool. He's always here.
Okay.
When did he retire?
Years ago.
Bruv, he needs to give it this rest.
He retired after many stints at.
I've got one. Keith Gillespie. He played for Man United and Newcastle.
Okay.
Leicester. He was a very talented player.
Okay, now you're saying okay. I have vibes with that.
Keith Gillespie, yeah.
Who else you got?
Right wingers. Who was a good right winger in the Premier League era?
And whilst you think about it, I'm gonna throw one out there. Sebastian Larsson.
Another one. These Scandi guys, man. Another foot. Another foot.
Kieran Dyer.
Sick note, mate.
What when he played, he was on. He got a lot of caps for England, so he was an underrated player.
Kieran Dyer. Remember, this is not about. This is players that the streets won't forget.
It's
not being underrated. This is the ballers.
Yeah.
Alright, Kieran Dyer. Say no more. Okay, Matthew.
I'm gonna go with. Feel free to disagree, but I think when you look at it that way about the streets, and for the time he was at this club, my club, I thought he established himself quite well. Iron Robin.
I thought you were going to throw Robs in there
because he had his first season when he arrived. I mean, proofs in the pudding. The first player ever had with number on his shirt was his. The very, very first. When he got that ball, absolute go time. He was the go-to the point. I remember when he got injured against Blackburn, our hearts were like this, like, oh my goodness, he's gone. But we went on, we soldiered on, we did it for our boy, and then we won the league. like best second to none. Second season, another good season. Not as good, but still quite consistent, getting used to the game. He left, and he only really got better, to be brutally honest. So you can almost say that his best years were not at Chelsea. His good years were at Chelsea. He's only at 70. He was a young'un. I think it was like 19, 20, or not. He was young. So, definitely got to say that for Iron Robin. Another one that I had in my mind, a right wing that streets won't forget. If we're not going underrated, and I'm going to throw this one in again because he got better. And his best years were not at the Premier League. His best years were years to come. Ready? Don't call me crazy. Cristiano Ronaldo.
I'm not having him on the list. I'm sorry. I'm not having him on this list.
Man is shutting down.
Cristiano Ronaldo. David Beckham is pushing it. That's pushing it. Ronaldo that's a violation. You can't have him on this list. He's a certified legend.
He's a certified legend in football. Yeah,
he's a certified Premier League legend. He's certified. You can't have him. We will have no choice we can't forget him. Even if we tried to. We'll have him rammed down our throat from some Man United top red fan all over the place. But about Ronaldo, he's better than Messi.
Who are yours again? Who are yours again?
I just have Seb Larson right now.
Seb Larson. What a guy.
I'm trying to think of who else would go on that list, though. It's hard.
It's so tough. You got any Malachi?
I know someone. Lee Bowyer. I know he plays centre mid, but he could play on the wing as well. For Leeds, he didn't really play as a centre mid. He played more wide right.
But
you can't have both him and Kieran Dyer. They will fight.
I just remembered that.
Oh, Craig, you're funny.
You can't have both. Oh wait. Oh my goodness. I don't know if people remember, but I remember this guy being good wherever he didn't play for that play. He played for another club. Solomon Tari. Played for Port. He's a centre mid.
Centre attacking mid.
Portsmouth.
Yeah.
Really good player.
Yeah.
Keep going around my ears. This is a really hard one.
It's hard picking them by position. We should have just said our players that we won't forget.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who we could stick out on the right wing.
For shift.
I'm going to pick one that's slightly left field.
Go on.
Park Ji-sung, Manchester United.
I forgot. I remember him. Yeah, he was unsung hero.
He just did the job. When it came down to defensively lock a man out the game, he could do it. When it came down to being that free winger that could nick you a goal, he could do it.
I got someone.
You know what? Actually, Park Ji-sung,
I got someone. Nani was underrated as well. I think he was underrated.
But the question isn't are they underrated? It's will they always remember them? I don't feel like Nani, to me,
he scores
lived up to his potential.
He did live up to his potential, but
I don't think he should be on this list personally because he didn't do what he was supposed to do. He was meant to be the next guy, and he did okay.
There were a lot of them. Let's go.
What about Anderson then?
Oh Lord.
Oh God.
It's just getting worse, bro.
I'm only asking a question. I'm stating the fact.
If Nani was up here and Anderson is not even on the floor.
Well, if they could turn around and say to us that we won trophies, show them their medals. They won more medals than the people that you put on the list.
Is it all right? But what contribution did they make?
They won trophies.
But if you're a water carrier in your team, you deserve. Let's be real. If you're a water carrier in your team, do you deserve not much recognition as players who perform for teams who don't win stuff?
So you want to be credited for doing all the donkey work?
If I stop my team getting relegated, right, by scoring goals in the crucial games in the run up to the last game of the season, right, I think I deserve more credit than the guy that's in the squad to win the league or the Champions League, who may have played 10 games.
Well, end of the day, I look at my career and say, let me see how much trophies. I look at players who won trophies, and I think he won a lot. Both of them are just named won trophies. You look at end of the day, when you're a football player, a professional football player, you come to win trophies, not about scoring crucial goals to win to stay up in the league.
Okay. Hold on. Hold that point. Okay, but if you were to ask a fan base, if we were to ask a fan base right now, let's say,
Bolton,
what's
for
a
example.
good example?
Newcastle, even Leicester.
Okay, Bolton, and I've got a player I'm going to add to my list. Stelios Giannakopoulos. Would you say that Stelios Giannakopoulos means more to Bolton fans than Nani does to United fans? Or Anderson? There you go.
When you put it like that.
When you put it like that, you got a point, but I got my other point now. I'm going to drop another point on you. What did Stelios win at Bolton?
But he helped them remember when Stelios was at Bolton, never got relegated.
Yeah.
They were always there and thereabouts in the top half of the table.
Yeah.
They were and he was part of the team that how many times did they beat us? With that guy coming up with some quality balls and stuff.
Enough time.
So to me, there's players who get a cult hero status because of what they did for the team.
Yeah,
without winning stuff.
It's always good to do that, but at the end of the day, if I'm a player and I don't win trophies, I'll be disappointed in my career.
But that's not what the question's about, though, is it?
People.
That's fine. That's not the question's about, though, is it?
It's about winning trophies.
No, the question is who plays the streets won't forget. It's not about who won the most trophies. Yeah, how are you talking about player trophies? Like, that's not the debate. You're talking about, this player won this player won that. That's ridiculous.
Okay. Everyone's got an opinion.
I got paid more money.
Everyone's got an opinion, but my opinion is...
No, but it's not an opinion. The criteria is players the streets won't forget. I don't think the people watching are going to care about the bank balances of these players.
Okay. I've just got one.
Go on.
He played in the right position. Please, again. Come on.
Go for
Gerard Deulofeu.
Yeah, he played.
Yeah.
Yes!
Yeah.
Thank you. Again, he played for Everton. He played for Watford. He was rejected, I think, from Real Madrid. And I think it was either Real or Barca or both. Rejected from both.
Barcelona.
It was Barcelona, yes, Barcelona. And another good player. Very skillful. Injury prone, though. Very, very injury prone. I think the Premier League was just a bit too
much
beefy for him. Just I was thinking there for just a second.
All right, who's going to be our starting right-sided player? I mean, it would be David Beckham if we're going to pick one.
Man's getting bare salty because of what I said.
David Beckham though for streets won't forget. Of course, we ain't got a choice.
This should be another one. Trophies versus legacy.
We'll do that next time.
I think that's something that needs to be decided.
All right. I guess it's either Robin or Beckham or even Park Ji-sung.
Park Ji-sung for me.
You know what? Park Ji-sung was what Samwise Gamgee was to Lord of the Rings. He was the one. He was the donkey, or Neville Longbottom to Harry Potter, the unsung, or even Snape, unsung hero.
Then that's sorted. Let's go up front. Since this seems to be the area where you've got a lot of strikers coming up.
Oh my goodness.
Let's see what Craig suggests because he's made some wild takes. I knew he was going to make some, I knew he was going to make some wild takes. And that's time bringing trophies into it. What a joke. Go on, Craig. Kick us off.
Strikers. Chris Sutton.
Okay.
Stan Collymore. Another unsung Premier League striker.
See, this is we know we're looking at two different criteria here. I never said unsung. I said the streets won't forget.
Streets won't forget Stan Collymore.
That does not mean they're an unsung hero. It means that it means that they were very good. They just weren't at legendary status. So basically, you're talking about the players below the Omris, the Vieiras, the Bergkamps.
Well, Stan Collymore should be in that one, then, isn't it? And Chris Sutton.
That's fine.
Collymore's gonna be remembered for another reason.
I know, same. That's what I was thinking, but that's okay.
But he was good.
John Hartson.
All right, that's Craig's guess is done.
And Paul Merson. Paul Merson as well. Who's a striker?
The Magic Man.
Yeah, what? You said
streets won't forget.
But they won't forget those guys, though. Isn't it a situation where...
I feel like we've forgotten some of them already.
Have you?
I feel like Chris Sutton's been forgotten, to be honest.
Won the Premier League.
I think like he's been forgotten, though. I think everyone thinks about Shearer from that team when they forget Sutton.
So that's what I said. He'd be one of them then, isn't it?
Okay.
All right, here we go. Time to flex your muscles. I have time to think about this. This is one I know. I'm going to go with, starting off right top, Papi Cisse. I'm going Demba Ba. I'm going Big Dunk, Duncan Ferguson. I am going, and because, again, I think he left, it wasn't the right time for him to leave. He should have stayed, maybe get a little bit of time. Michael Owen. I'm going to say Michael Owen. It's contentious. It's tepid.
It's I allow David Beckham. Owen can stand as well. I feel like to me they're on the same level. Craig, you've had your thought. What do you mean? You want
one
more?
Craig Bellamy.
Bit of a journey, man. Well, wait, hang on. Okay, if you're doing what? One just came through.
Go on.
Anelka. Another journeyman. Another journeyman.
Before your time.
Before your time, man. What the characters?
Oh gosh, I already said Luar at the start of the show. I'm going for him. The streets won't forget him.
Definitely not.
Yakubu.
Nah,
No?
not for me. Not on my list anyway. Although he would be, but I don't know. I'll take it because I can't think of anyone else.
Benny McCarthy.
He was a good player.
Benny McCarthy.
Michu,
Oh
Michu was a
yes.
good
because he had a solid run where he was just unbelievably good.
Absolute banger of a season.
That's it. So, who are our strikers from this list? We got some from the early days in the Premier League, and we got some that their fans would definitely forget about. And we got a couple others, like Yakubu in particular, that his nation would be happy to forget about.
Yakata.
How did you miss that tapping in the World Cup? I mean, it looked easier to score than to miss.
Ask him. Oh no.
I want to put Kanu on my list, but I feel like Kanu was a certified known legend.
He was. He won the title twice at Arsenal. So yeah.
Hasselbank.
Jimmy.
Hasselbank. It just came through to me
Jimmy.
He didn't win anything at Chelsea.
But
he should
But
be
he was
highly
He's a
rated.
cult
he
hero,
was
yeah.
he led that line for someone like Drogba to come in,
Yeah.
and I think he's just another established Premier League player who's like he played in the Premier League and he was good. He could shoot though as well. He could absolutely shoot.
All right. Who's going to be our top two? That's a hard one.
It's a school night as well, so it can't be too long. Because they're all kind of different players. All they're strikers, but they don't do the same thing. You got quick ones, you got strong ones, you got technical ones, you got hold up ones. And this is not including players we haven't mentioned.
Let's go Michael Owen. I thought that's nice and easy.
Yeah.
And by default, he should be there. Michael Owen and Jimmy.
Yeah.
Because I feel like as a front pairing, that would just be ridiculously, that you just get goals.
Terrifying.
Hasselbank will hold the ball up and flip the ball into Owen. Owen uses pace and get in between the strikers when it was and then banging a goal.
It's a good thing there. Good thing is I was just about to remember Heskey for a moment. It's a good thing you've said that. I was just about to, but I didn't.
And then we can put Chris Sutton and Michu on the bench.
Yeah, I was going to say I'd happily have 2013 Michu in there.
Who's our coach?
Who's the gaffer?
Because you could argue someone like he was the manager of Swansea.
Michael Laudrup.
No, after him.
Carvalho.
Rogers? No.
It's the young guy.
What young guy?
I can see his face, but I can't remember his name.
Portuguese guy?
No, when they play really good football, but I can't remember. I can see his face. I can't remember his name.
Clark? No, still no. He didn't matter. He was another. I'm sure. Is it one where they won the League Cup? Because that was definitely Laudrup.
That was Laudrup.
No. I know you mean. I know.
Thinking of that guy.
Gary Monk.
That's
Gary
what I'm
Monk.
thinking.
Gary Monk. Yes.
Yeah.
Good manager.
Gary Monk would be one on my list.
Good manager.
Gary Monk or Gary Monk.
It's tough though, isn't it? Because you've had some great managers. Like, who's an underrated manager that's been in the league, that's done it, or other manager that the streets won't forget?
It's hard to ignore. It's hard to ignore someone like Keegan. I'm sorry. It's hard to ignore.
Keegan is a cult hero in Newcastle.
Or Bobby Robson.
I was about to say him as
Who's
well.
who?
Bobby Robson.
Bobby Robson, yeah.
That'd be a good shout.
I'll say Brian Robson when he was at Middlesbrough. They played some good football under him.
Guy.
Brian Robson. He had Janino. He had all them good players in the 90s. I'll say Brian Robson got to 2 cup finals in one season and got relegated. So. Don't laugh, you have to laugh.
That's jokes. You got to 2 cup finals in one season. I got relegated. That's our coach. That's our manager. That is hilarious. Brian Robson.
Oh, what guy? Oh, Houllier, Gerard Houllier. He was all right. Liverpool.
Yeah, he was good. He was good.
But I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know.
you need him.
I said David O'Leary. He was very good at with young players.
Villa.
No, Leeds. When he was at Leeds, he was very good. Yeah, David O'Leary. Yeah, he was a good coach. Yeah,
all these managers that aren't around no more, man.
they're not around no more.
That is crazy to think.
David
I
O'Leary
swear
was a
there's
good manager.
there's
Yeah,
another manager coming up somewhere in my mind where. What about Martinez? Roberto Martinez.
he was good.
Swansea played great football under him.
Yeah, he was
And he-
good.
They were,
well,
and they were consistent.
And good at Wigan.
He was good at Wigan and Everton for a little while.
Yeah.
Then he got sacked.
He was better at Wigan. I
I don't
think
think he was ever good at Everton, but okay.
Wigan was. I think Everton was a bit too
Yeah.
Bit too
big
much
of
for him.
a big of a
Challenge.
thing. Yeah.
Or even Glenn Hoddle when he was at Chelsea
was up
first,
there,
bro.
right?
Before he got the England job, he was very good at Swindon as well in the Premier League. So I'll say Glenn Hoddle maybe.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, go on.
He was a very good coach. A lot of England players said that he was a very technically gifted coach.
Okay, we're going for Hoddle.
Okay, cool.
We're going for Glenn Hoddle. Right. I think that's been a very interesting battle to get to, and 11 the streets
Wow,
won't
yeah.
forget. what a team we've got. Shea Given in goal. We've got Pascal Chimbonda at right back, John Anna Reese at left back, Lucas Radaby and Yap Stam in the middle, JJ Okocha and Norberto Solano with Mark Overmars on one wing and Park Ji Sung on the other.
Yes.
Up front, we've got Michael Owen and, of course, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, and they are managed by Glenn Hoddle with Brian Robson as his assistant.
Yeah, that works for me.
Solid.
That's a mix right there. But I'm happy with it.
All right. Well, this has been a very eventful, contentious episode of Glory. Next time, we're going to talk about what is more important: money in terms of trophy success, or being a cult hero in terms of the impact you had in your team, in their survival / their season's outlook. But until then, take care, everyone. My name's been Clive.
I'm Matt.
Craig,
Peace.
peace out.
Yeah.